Hello everybody, my name is JC and I thought I'd do a video about Norwegian baby names. More specifically, the top 10 baby names for girls and boys, but I'll be splitting it into two videos because otherwise it would be a bit too long. So this video is girls' names, and I've taken the names from SSB, which is the Norwegian Statistical Bureau, which has information about how many times each, it has information about how many times a name has been used since 1880 until the present, and it also has lists of how many people currently have a name in Norway. Okay, so at number 10 we have the name Ingrid, or Ingrid, as we'd say in Norwegian, and this is a Scandinavian name meaning Ing's daughter or hero's daughter, and this is a very, very traditional Norwegian name, and it's been around for a really long time. In fact, it was in the top 10 in 1907 until 1937, and it's currently been in the top 10 since 1992, so obviously this is a name that a lot of people like and use. At number 9 we have the name Sophia, or Sophia as we pronounce it in Norwegian. This is a really classical name and it's Greek, meaning wisdom. It's currently been in the top 10 since 2012, but it's also one of these names that has a long track record. But its current upswing is from the 1990s, but as with all other names on this list, as you'll see, it's never really been out of fashion. So it's one of those names that everybody knows and knows somebody who has this name. At number 8 we have the name Emilia, or Emilie, or Emilia, which is probably a more familiar version to English speakers. This name is Latin and it means ambitious. Some people say it's a French name, but then it means to strive or work hard, essentially the same meaning. This is probably my favourite among the names on this list. It's been in the top 10 since 1998, so quite a long while, and it was moderately popular in the 1880s to the 1920s, but its current upsurge was from the 1990s, so it went from being relatively low and being really, really popular in a quite short while. At number 7 we have the name Maya, or Maya, which is a Latin name meaning great, or a Sanskrit name meaning illusion. Some people also say it's an English name and is derived from May. Whatever its origin, it's the sort of name that is easy to pronounce in a lot of languages, and it sounds pretty uniform across multiple language groups. So if you're an international parent and want a name that a lot of people can say and it won't be too different in your two native tongues, I think Maya is a great name. This is actually the only name in the top 10 that hasn't been around for a very long time. I think it first appeared in Norway in the 1940s, but it got its upswing in the 2000s, and then it reached the top 10 in 2009. So even though it's a relatively new name, its popularity has been rather steady since it got in the top 10. At number 6 we have the name Olivia, which is the female version of the name Oliver. Oliver is a French name or Latin, meaning olive tree. Some people also say it's an English name, meaning ancestor's descendant, but I don't really know how reliable that information is. This is one of my mother's absolute favourite girls' names, so it's kind of strange that none of us girls are named it, but who knows why? Obviously, it's not just one person making the decision. This is a relatively late newcomer to the top 10, and it's only been on the list since 2015, and it had its upswing from being moderately popular and then lowly not very popular in the 2000s. At number 5 we have the name Ella. Ella is a name that has got a myriad of different meanings, and in Spanish they say it's a name for a young girl, while in English they say it's for a young fairy woman. However, some people also say it's a short form of Elena, which is a Greek name meaning light. In Hebrew they say it means goddess, and in German they say it means all or universal. I think Ella is a very pretty name. It's short and sweet, and it's also one of those names you can use if you have different languages in your family. It's been in the top 10 things since 2015, like Olivia has, and it came into popular use in the 2000s. However, it was also moderately popular in the 1920s to the 1950s, so it's a name that's been around for a long time, and most people will likely know somebody who's named it. It's actually one of the only names on the list that I've never met anyone called, so I'm kind of surprised at how popular it is, but you know, that's a logical fallacy of what you have available, you think is common. At number 4 we have the name Sarah, which is a Hebrew name meaning princess. And this is of course also a biblical name, and I think this is a really pretty name. And when I was little I always thought I'd adopt a girl and name her Sarah, so I think this is also one of my favourites from the list. Nowadays I'd probably go more with Amelia, but I think Sarah is also a very pretty name. This one has been in the top 10 since 2000, and it became relatively popular in the 1970s and has stayed popular since then. So this is a name you really can't go wrong with, and also works in a lot of different languages. At number 3 we have the name Emma, which is either a Latin or an Old German name meaning all or universal. I think this is a very pretty name and also relatively traditional English name rather than a traditionally Norwegian name, and when I hear the name I always think of Jane Austen's Emma. It's been in the top 10 since 1998 and in the top 3 since 2003, so this one is a really popular name. So, and I don't think you can go wrong with it, even though there will be a lot of people named Emma if you choose that name. It was moderately popular in the 1880s to the 1920s, and it got its current upswing in the 1990s, and it kind of shot up when it first got into the scene. At number 2 we have the name Nora or Nora, which is an English name meaning honour. Some people also say it's another short form of Eleanor, like Ella is, and also it means of course light. This has been in the top 10 since 2000 and in the top 5 since 2008. So this is also a really popular name and has stayed quite popular as well. It had its upswing in the 1990s, and when I hear this name, it makes me think of Henrik Ibsen's A Dollhouse, where the protagonist is Nora. And I think it's a relatively pretty name, but I wouldn't use it as I have a niece called, no, she's actually my cousin, and I also have a friend's daughter who is named this, hence the niece. And at number 1, the name you've all been waiting for, we have Sofia, or Sophie. It might surprise some of you that Sofia and Sophia is listed separately, but this is something quite common in Norway, I think, that you have a name and sometimes you have an E ending or other times an A ending, and we do consider the names to be 2 separate names, though obviously we do recognize that they're very similar. Sophia is also a Greek name meaning wisdom, and it's been in the top 10 since 2008, but was also in the top 10s in the 1880s. So this is a name that's been really popular for a long time, and it's never really been out of style, even though obviously its popularity has gone up and down, as with all names. In its current reign of popularity, it has been since the 1990s, and it's been in the top 10 since 2008. Okay, so that was the list of the top 10 baby names in Norway in 2017. I hope you liked the list, and I don't think there were any names on there that you hadn't heard before. So in that sense, Norway is very much aligned with Western Europe and America, even though we are slightly behind, particularly Sweden, when it comes to naming trends. If you like this video, share, comment, or even subscribe or like, and I'll see you next time for the boys' names list. Bye, and thank you for watching.